Trending today, Rowan County, Kentucky clerk Kim Davis. She was arrested for refusing to issue marriage licenses to, well, anyone, including gay couples, straight couples, whatever. She wasn't issuing them. A judge found her in contempt for refusing to follow the law, and she was taken into custody. Here to discuss is the author of Outlasting the Gay Revolution, Dr. Michael Brown. Welcome to the show, and congratulations on the book.
Oh, thanks, and great to be with you, Gina.
All right, absolutely. Now, Dr. Brown, Kim Davis was taken into custody today. As you know, she was willing to go to jail for her beliefs. Some say she should have resigned instead. Do you believe that was the best way for her to stand up for what she thinks is right?
Oh, absolutely. Look, this is how social change has come over the centuries in America, where people stood up for what's right and they had moral conviction, they had moral backbone. I understand you could say she should have resigned, but look, she served the county for over 25 years. She was an elected official. When she was sworn in, marriage was what it's always been. She believes the Supreme Court's ruling is unjust. What I find really ironic and really hypocritical is she's getting attacked left and right by the very same people who defended San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom when, in violation of the law, he started to issue same-sex marriage certificates years ago. So what we're seeing now on display is a real active, aggressive, anti-Christian sentiment. The issue is not so much what she's doing. The issue is what she believes. That's why the first principle in my book, Outlasting the Gay Revolution, is never compromise your convictions. We knew for years this was coming. Here it is. It's time to take a stand.
It's interesting that you point to that, and I think it's interesting to observe the fact that this is more, I think, about activism, as you point out, because the person doing the same job as her, only on the converse, going ahead and performing gay marriages as county clerk, even though it wasn't legal, and that was applauded by the same group that is now raising all this trouble for her. And so what does that say about where we are as a culture, Dr. Brown?
What it tells us is that tolerance is a one-way street. It's double talk. The people calling for tolerance are utterly intolerant. The people talking about being inclusive are totally exclusive. The people talking about diversity mean my way or the highway. Now look, we can't fight back the same way. If we're going to overcome this, we're going to have to overcome with truth and with love and with patience and with perseverance. But I was dialoguing with folks today, gay activists and journalists, and I said, why must you use the word bigotry for our position? Can't you see we don't have personal animus? Can't you see that we just believe marriage is what it's always been, and the union of a man and woman? There's biology behind it, natural law behind it, and we don't think it's right to set something up whereby by choice a child is disconnected from either their mother or their father for life. Why can't you see it's not bigotry? They said you're bigots. So the Supreme Court.
But to that point, Dr. Brown, if I can stop you right there, isn't that exactly what people said about slavery? I'm making the devil's advocate point here because I've seen it in social media, that this is the way we've always done it. America's always had slaves. Why should we change that? I need you to answer that.
Yeah, well, from day one in American history, there was debate over it. There was North and South division over it. And in point of fact, there was a constant tension in America over these issues. And it was a battle that was fought between Bible believers on both sides. And ultimately, those who advocated civil treatment of all won out. What you're talking about here is a fundamental redefinition of the meaning of marriage, unknown basically in world history on any national level. Even in societies that celebrated homosexual relations, like ancient Greece, the fact is that they didn't call two men being together marriage. That's why I lay out in my book that once you redefine marriage, you make it meaningless. Who's to say it's two people? If it's not the union of a man and a woman, then why should it be limited to two people? It's no surprise that the same day the Supreme Court made its decision, June 26th, within 24 hours, polygamists said, what about us? What about us? Why are you being bigoted against us?
And many predicted that's exactly what would happen. I remember when the LGBT vehemently denied that. I was on the show Wife Swap, as you know, with a polyamorous family, and I said, you know, and they argued with me, why do I hate gays, was their question. And I said, of course it has nothing to do with, I don't hate gays, that's ridiculous, but it has to do with the fact that, you know, you could never use the slippery slope argument, but yet the moment that this all happened, not only the polygamists, but the polyamorous and all the rest of them now clamoring to use those same laws. But I did have an attorney on my show, I believe it was yesterday, who said, but this is the only way to keep the separation of church and state. Now, I debated her, of course, because the separation of church and state does not exist in our Constitution, as you know. But she said it was sort of in our founding because they were talking about it before they did the Bill of Rights. I wanted to give you a chance to answer that assertion.
Yeah, of course. What the discussion was, should there be a state-imposed religion? Out of the 13 first counties, the majority of them were founded on a particular religious belief, most Protestant with different backgrounds among them. So the question was, should there be a state-imposed religion on everyone? And the answer was no. There has to be separation to keep the state out of the church. But the very documents of the Founding Fathers presuppose that we would be a moral and religious people, to the point that they said that's the only way this democracy can run. So what we are running into now, Gina, is sexual anarchy and social and moral chaos. If you're going to use the mantra, marriage equality, love wins, I have the right to marry the one I love, you cannot limit that just to two people. All of the combinations, be it polygamous, be it polyamorous, be it adult consensual incest, there have to be reasons for it. The very reasons that Justice Kennedy gave in his ruling, saying that this is why we must embrace this change, it works for any of the other relationships as well. So this is bad news. The good news is it's wake-up time for America.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So you talk in your book about outlasting all of this that's taking place. How do we do that? Very quickly, sorry.
Very quickly. Number one, we have to realize that the gay revolution has within itself the seeds of self-destruction, and the bullying will backfire. Number two, if we live by the 8 principles in Outlasting the Gay Revolution, principles of life, principles of reproduction, principles that celebrate gender distinctions, we will be the last man standing at the end of the story.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Brown. Tell people where they can get your book.
Oh, they can just go to Amazon.com, get Outlasting the Gay Revolution, or look for it any other online dealer, or hopefully in bookstores, unless the bookstores ban it. We shall see.
Yeah, I imagine that you have a special consideration there, don't you? Thank you for being with us.